So all Doomsday Preppers could be gay.
Oh, yeah. I want to know, once and for all, how long did you know that I had GTA 5 for when I was not supposed to?
What's the fentanyl?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you're just like having a great time. Communism is the right way to go.
In short, I punctured my lung and broke 3 ribs.
Hey, these people didn't kill innocent civilians.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care. I just go and do it.
Right, yeah. And that's not even a you thing. Everybody does that.
I find it funny.
Why not turn up the difficulty then? Make it harder.
I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah. The only thing that my phone could do was connect to the radio and call people. That's it. You laugh now. I hated it so much.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you an emergency broadcast. Strap in for a new episode of Barnzey Burns Down the World.
Alright, so, have you seen The Last of Us?
Yes.
So we've been specifically saving it. It's a bit late from when it was released.
Late.
But, what did you think?
So, overall, I reckon it was rushed.
Really?
I would say rushed. So I reckon maybe not 2 seasons, but maybe 3 or 4 more episodes. Just to space out everything they've done and some of the order they put things in.
So in the game, right, they seem to cover everything in the game, like all the major points of what happens. And obviously with games, you'll have to have spaces where characters will talk to each other with like puzzle solving or just like walking across.
Yes.
That would take away from the show and create filler if there was too much in there.
Maybe, but they could have had some of the filler could have been him searching and opening drawers and finding weapons.
I suppose they did that on the way to Bill and Frank's.
Yeah, but that was it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got my phone ringing, and it better not be important.
I'll fix
it.
It
is. It's really important.
All right.
Let me see how it goes. Hello.
Hi, I just finished work.
Oh, good. Have you phoned Mum?
Yeah, she did not.
Okay, Mum's going to pick you up.
Are you at work?
Yeah, no, I'm at Josh's.
Working.
All right. So she should be on her way. So she should be here. All right. Well, maybe she's in the car park.
Yeah,
But
she should be on her phone.
okay. Do you want me to ring her?
I'll call her again.
All right.
See if she-
All right. And if you ring me again, I'll know that she hasn't answered.
Okay.
All right. Good luck. Bye.
That's all right. It's been cut out. I won't leave that phone call in. Yeah, I do have some. Michaela did say something funny to me that I'll bring up later, but
Yeah.
we'll stay on track with Last of Us for now, and when it comes up again, I'll bring it up. So, I really enjoyed the show. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did.
Okay. So I'm actually gonna go and watch it again.
Okay.
So because they're all spaced, I know it's that binge watching thing. And you watch it for 1 episode a week. You go, oh, I've forgotten. Where are we? Oh yeah. And every time I watched it, the beginning of the episode, I look at it and I go, oh, what's going on here? There's something. Oh yeah, that's what it took like 3 or 4 minutes to kick in.
Do you reckon that's a general memory thing or a you memory thing? Because I don't have any problem with remembering what happened previously. Like it'll come up.
No, well, the beginning of some of the episodes, you'd watch it and you go, that's not from the end of the last episode. That's like completely different. Something
because they've moved on. It's like it's the start of the next chapter. It's not the end of the previous chapter.
Yeah. Something else as well. They had the seasons a lot more defined in the game, whereas
as in the weather seasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And then in the show, it's like it's getting cold. It's winter. Oh no, it's spring again.
They time jump through because they've got to get on with it because it's a TV show.
But they could have made it last a couple more episodes at least. I think.
Was there anything that shouldn't have been there for what was, even if the criticism is that you think it went on for just enough time?
No, that was good. So, because how old's the game? It's like 10 years old.
Yeah, it came out 2013.
So, woke wasn't a thing 10 years ago.
Nope.
So, now it is a thing, and the producers or director or whatever has made it more culturally appropriate, I think is the best words. Mm-hmm. So, there's the Bill and Frank. So,
because they're in the game as like not as I don't think they're in the game. They're not as characters, but they
Bill's
are.
big in the game.
Yeah.
And Frank is his partner, but that's it.
They don't say.
They don't say it's
they're a couple. They're
it's
married.
a couple. His love interest or whatever, and it doesn't matter.
No.
It's just that wasn't a thing in the game.
It's just presented differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of Bill's journey in the game wasn't on TV, and I thought there's a scene that bugs me, and I'm like, that should have been on the show.
Which scene? Because
The-
it's already all out. We can just talk.
The game where Bill suddenly goes through the school and gets into the school hall, and you got the first time you meet one of the big
Bloaters?
bloater.
Yep.
You meet the bloater and he's firing rubbish at you, and you're like, I don't even know how to deal with this. I'm firing back at him. I can't do anything. And then you find that room in the corner, and I'm like, oh man, it's so easy now.
I think that's how you're supposed, because that's how, I guess, not old games, but a little bit older games, what they would do is they wouldn't be straightforward. They won't say, here's your hand, I'll take you into the next room, here's your next objective, here's the next, you have to figure it out.
So when I first played it,
Yeah.
that was when I was injured, and I'm sitting at home, arm with the towel under my arm, so I couldn't move, and I'm sitting there for hours, and I just die. I'm looking around, I'm like, I got to throw stuff at him, and I'll die. And I'm like, and I didn't find that room in the back in the first time I played it, but I got through it.
Just brute force it.
I don't know. I'm just I'm ducking and covering, and I'll find some weapons, and I'm like, reload, shoot, run at the other end, shoot, and he's throwing stuff at me, and I'm like ducking. I can see his rhythm, his routine, and eventually you can kill him. Mm-hmm. And then he just start to escape. More of the zombies come back. More of they start flying in as you get, that's something else in the game, in the TV show. Only once did she climb up to get a ladder.
I guess that would have been as, maybe a reference to the fact that
Yeah, but
they do that.
she does it several times. Why wait till the last episode to do that?
I don't know, to show, hey, we
like-
haven't forgotten about this.
Oh man, that was good, but I'm like, you could have done that.
So there was one thing I heard, the voice actor of Joel, his name's Troy Baker, he's in the show.
No way.
Yes. So his name. I was hoping you'd find
Yeah,
out
no, I
naturally
didn't know.
here. Good. I think it's episode 8 when you meet who's the snow cannibal. He's got the church. The guy he's feeding his
Yes,
people.
yeah. God. Oh no.
You know who I'm
Is it
talking
David?
about? David, yes.
Yeah.
So David and his main group of guys, one of them, he's got a beard. His name's James. And when James and David have got Ellie pinned in the butcher room, and they're about to, I guess, cut her up, and she
Yes.
goes, "I'm infected," and then she
And
goes,
they step
"What?"
back and she gets the
and
cleaver.
she gets the cleaver.
Yeah.
The guy she kills, that's the voice of Joel.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's
That's
in
cool.
there. I think the voice actor for Marlene plays Marlene.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain.
Wow, that's good. So the other things in the game and the TV show.
Yep.
In the scene where David's chasing her down in the restaurant, and it's all burning, it's catching fire, and it progressively gets worse in the game, no one comes to save David.
Really?
No one's there. It's just David and her and Ellie. And she's running around, and she's got to watch for
Is that because they're all going after Joel because he's picking them off while he's looking for Ellie? Or is that...
I don't know, but even in the TV episode, so there was comments after the show that the restaurant's burning down, David's in there chasing Ellie, and no one's around. And then when Joel gets to Ellie after Ellie's killed David, still no one's there. There's no one. It's like everyone's gone hiding. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fair point. Maybe they could have done
Well,
something.
they're seeing their communal hall burn down in a massive fire.
Yeah, but go do something about it.
I guess.
Because they met in the hall at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
They're in the hall, and it's all it wasn't.
It's all community based.
Yeah, it wasn't the Fireflies logos. It was church based logos.
Yeah,
it was
'cause-
Jesus or someone will save you, or it wasn't follow the light. Even though the Fireflies, I've come to dislike them more now since I watched the show.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like.
But you know who I'm talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, her.
She frames Fedra as this fascist dictatorship and the Fireflies as these saviors.
Yeah. Yes. So she's looking at it one eyed because
Yeah.
she's just joined Fireflies.
Yeah, because that's now her current ideology.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Yep, this is the way to go." They couldn't have done it any other way. So that episode is DLC for
Yes.
the game. It's an extension. So you wouldn't. That was all new for you.
Oh no, I did see it
You did see
because
it.
after the game,
Yeah.
you can play
Left Behind.
Left Behind, and it's sort of that.
I didn't realize that was included in the game.
I got it.
You got it.
Mm.
Okay. I thought that came
I'm
out
sitting
after.
there. I'm sitting there with broken ribs, and I'm
Yeah.
armed up, and I finished the game. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? And I'm like, oh, there's another one here. What's that? And it's Ellie running around doing stuff, and it's not the same, but it's similar because Ellie runs with her friend. I forgot what her name is.
Yeah.
And goes into a shopping mall, and
yeah.
then lights up, and then they do bits and pieces in there, and there's a haunted house, the Halloween shop.
Yep.
There's that in there, and they put the masks on, they do silly stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that, but that's not part of the game. I didn't know that till afterwards. I was like, oh
Like,
yeah,
you're
it
like,
was,
why
yeah.
why do you remember this? And then it was there.
Just yeah. So other things in the game, in the TV show that I look at and you go, are you just ticking the woke box?
Mm-hmm.
So other than Bill and Frank,
Yep.
that's fine. Ellie's friend / love interest, fine. Don't worry about that. Joel's brother's wife,
The one that runs the Communist Party.
yeah,
Yeah.
not white. In the game, white as anything, just normal white person, no problem. And then in the TV show, it's almost like we've got to tick a box here to be culturally.
It didn't stick out as anything odd.
That's why I want to watch it all again, just to get another understanding of the whole show and go, that makes sense. I understand that flows. That's there. This is there.
Oh, here's another one. The kid, Sam and Henry. So the brothers.
Sam's a lot younger in the show than in the game.
And in the show, he's deaf.
So and I'm like, what the hell happened here?
So that was a creative choice, but out of necessity because the actor is deaf.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's all. That's
was
all
good.
real. And they
That
go,
played
oh,
really well.
You're like, hey, how can we make this not distinct but different?
Yeah, yeah.
And
no,
we'll make
that
it work.
worked.
He's a
That
good
was-
actor.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Yeah.
okay, all right, he's deaf. Let's
Yeah.
find a way to write it into the story. And it didn't change much at all.
No, that worked well. I didn't like the what. Oh, did he die in the game like that? I can't remember
don't
how they died
remember.
in the game.
I think so.
Did he turn? He said he was cut, and then the next morning he tried to kill Ellie. I can't remember how the game went. So I played the game twice. Mm-hmm. So the second time I played it while the season was on.
Yep.
Didn't like it the second time as much. Anyway, the first time it was good. The second time, I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to do this. I know how to do that. Oh yeah, do that. And
And that took away from it.
yeah, I much
So-
rather play it the first time and not
Why
know
not
anything.
turn up the difficulty then? Make it harder.
I didn't know I could do that.
It's a game.
I don't play games. I just
Yeah,
look
but
at it
it's-
and sit
the
there
start,
and
it goes, you want to play easy, medium,
I
hard,
don't know what
expert.
I played. I don't know what level I played at, but it was all too easy. I could see everything, go everywhere, do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there was good things. So I think it was the first, maybe second or third episode, where no, it was the second one because what's Joel's partner's name? Not partner. Tess.
Tess, yep.
And they're in the museum.
Yep.
That was good, but I think that was later in the game as well. I don't think it was. I can't remember if it was with Tess or not.
So
But
Liam
that was-
and I,
yeah,
Liam
that
and I
was-
watched
yeah.
episode 1 separately, and he wasn't he wanted to keep watching, but he wasn't fully sold on it.
Yeah.
After seeing that, he's like, "All right, I'm in. Let's
Okay.
go. Let's keep watching." And then we watched the rest of the show together. So
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that point, I'd already seen the first 5, maybe 6 episodes. Watched them all again with him.
Okay. I like the different versions of zombies.
Yes.
You know, the
Like
clickers.
different evolutions.
The clickers. Is that what they? No.
Yep, clickers are the ones where it's like infected, but you like it's
The
like
head's all
half their
disfigured.
head.
Yeah, the head's all
They're-
disfigured. And
So they're not just regular zombies. They don't say zombies, but they're zombies.
yes, yeah.
So it's like zombie, clicker, and then when the fungus
Bloater.
is got
His
fully
whole body, yeah.
fully I guess taken over, that's the
Yeah.
bloater. I think they evolve further. So I haven't played the second game.
Yeah, okay.
I know about it, and I think they evolve further from that.
Okay.
Because there's a time jump between.
Yeah.
If I can get a hold of the second game,
Yeah. I'll play it.
yeah, for sure. I'll play it too. So I want to play the first game properly again.
Yeah.
So I'll trade you. I'll trade you my
fine.
game for my game.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's fine. The second season, I don't think it's going to come out for another year. They reckon
So-
Ellie's actress's name. What's her
Bella
Ramsey.
Ramsey. Yep.
So she's playing down in age to play
Ellie.
Ellie now.
Yep.
And then she'll have to play up her age to play Ellie in the new season.
'Cause I
and they
think-
were sort of like, do we recast her? Don't we recast her? I'm like, it's an actor, mate, or actress, whatever.
Bella Ramsey's, I think she's 20.
Late teens or 20, something
I
like
think
that.
she's 20, yeah.
She'll be able to play Ellie the second time.
She's
around.
actually, her and Pedro Pascal are the same age gap as Leonardo DiCaprio and his current girlfriend.
Oh, see?
Yeah,
It's just-
see, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but Leo's got some weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's.
So I've
he's got
heard,
issues.
like the Hollywood gossip rumors are that whenever he has a partner who's closer to his age, she like gets over him pretty quick because he's not mature enough for
Probably.
his age.
Yeah,
So he
that's it.
prefers to have younger partners so that they relate to him more.
I reckon if you've got that much money, you can do what the hell you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something funny that I thought of about the whole not politically correctness thing. So, what's the name of the leader of the group in Kansas City?
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah.
That was good. I
So-
like that.
What was her name? Not Marley, not Darlene.
See? We don't pay attention enough. But her.
Yes.
And everyone took her as leader and listened to her.
and it all went to shit.
And she was cut that Henry killed her brother. I think.
No, Joel killed.
Did Joel kill her brother?
Joel killed her son. That's what it was.
sorry,
It was
her son.
Her son, who was part of the group that attacked Joel and Ellie when they were driving with Bill and Frank's truck. They were driving through Kansas City.
So why was she after Henry? That's why I thought Henry killed her. I don't know how.
I think she was just after him because he was looking after Ellie and...
Yeah, but before even Joel and Ellie came on the scene, she was already looking for Henry. And he was hiding out.
I don't remember why.
And he hid out in different places, and they cut backwards and forwards, and you know, we've only got one jar of food left, or one, you know, we're gonna have to go look for more food, and
Yeah, but they were hiding in the attic and then
yeah,
yeah.
and then the attic was found out, and it's got lots of pictures in there, and
I don't remember why they were being hunted.
Yeah. because they caught people and tried to find find where Henry was, and they wouldn't tell them, so she shot one of them. She
It was
like-
the doctor.
something like that, yeah. And that was good. So that's not part of the game. That's just out there. But when she died, that was the only time the zombies all came out of the ground and went nuts. And I'm like, that's not the way. If you're going to do that,
There is a zombie horde in that section of the game. It's just I think the
they don't
timing's a
come
little
out.
bit different.
They don't come out of the house after it's blown up.
No.
Where would they come from?
So did you
they-
see how they were throughout the episode they were establishing that in the sewers is where all the infected are. It's sealed off. It's safe, and that's how that one big guy gets infected.
Yeah.
And then just before shit starts to hit the fan, they go to that room, and then all the concrete is kind of like uplifted in sort of an impact but reversed.
Yeah.
That's because the bloater is underneath there. That's them hinting towards, hey, there's something big here under the city.
okay.
We can't control it. It's going to be a problem. And she goes, we'll deal with it later. I want to deal with this now first.
Yeah, and they go and yeah.
And then that's like after that explosion, it
It all
releases
brings them up from the.
Yeah.
But it's just like a residential street. It wouldn't be a massive sewer there.
It shouldn't be.
So that's why it was a bit weird. I was just like, oh, I'll go with it.
Well,
but-
where else are they supposed to come out of? Like, otherwise they're all this way behind this entire military coup.
Yeah.
And then they just, storm them from the back?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, yeah, that's why we're not movie directors.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah. Movie directors,
You know,
TV show directors, writers, anything like
You
that.
know, but and that's where Joel was taking shots from the house to just dropping them every now and again. But the build up to that in the game is a lot more intense. It's a lot
Yes.
harder. Even I think I was playing at novice or whatever level the basic one was. The first time I played it, and you've got to go through 4 or 5 blown up houses, and every now and again you'll get a shot come your way because you're suddenly in target and you don't know you're in target, and you've got people to kill on the way.
I do, and you're trying to make your way through the street
And
as safely
you
as
make your way on
possible.
the left hand side of the street, going down past 3 or 4 houses,
Yeah.
picking up weapons and food and whatever, and then blowing up the odd people every now and again. And then you've got to get to a spot where you can use your rifle and just shoot out this guy that's got this submachine, or not submachine gun. It's like a
Sniper
heavy,
rifle,
it's
or-
a heavy duty sniper
Yeah.
rifle. And then you go in there and get it, and then you got to protect Ellie as she's coming down down from. I think there's zombies at first,
Yes.
and then the truck comes down, and that's when the
Actually,
federal
I
leader,
kind of remember
the
the
federal
scene,
leader
yeah.
comes down and then starts playing it all, and all the other guys come in, and you got to sit there and shoot everything as it comes out. And look, that was all right. It's
So, Bill and Frank, no one else, no women, men only, perfect society. They grow old, and die of not natural causes.
So the Doomsday Prepper
Yep.
is generally a solitary person, and sets up his home and does all the groundwork and safety zones and that, and then a trigger goes off, and he looks out on the camera, he sees someone there, and he goes there and he's about to shoot them, and then goes, it's this guy Frank. Frank's a bit submissive, comes out, gets some feed, and then they fall for each other. And you're like, is that what Doomsday Preppers do?
I guess not. Maybe he was convinced. Well, because look, at that point,
you know, once the Doomsday things actually happen, because at the moment, all Doomsday Preppers, whatever scenario in real life, because they're in America and probably all over the world.
There's a whole show about it, and it's very funny because every single time that when the show gets to, like, they'll follow them along on their plan, and they're like, hey, we're gonna like eat rats and crocodiles in the sewers if the world goes to shit, and then they go, all right, then what? And they don't really.
They haven't got an answer.
No, because it's just what if.
So this guy's the Doomsday Prepper in reality, and I'm watching and I'm going, okay, so have the actual Doomsday Preppers of today thought this through and gone, I'm on my own for years. I've made myself solitude, confinement and all that sort of stuff. I've got my food, I'm all protected. And then someone comes in that happens to be of the same gender, however you want to talk about it today. It's the same gender, and then I fall for him, and I'm like, oh, I've got to look. All my gear has now got to be shared.
Yeah.
With someone else.
I think every time they do one of the time jumps that they do, he goes on, it's like, oh no, it's like they do like old married couple arguments.
Yes.
It's like, oh, resource management. Like, don't tell me resource management. I want to paint this because I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, you could make the point that, I don't know, I guess you don't really know if, was Bill the Doomsday Prepper?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't know that Bill was always gay? No. He could have been, but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. And who knows who it is. So all Doomsday Preppers could be gay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just funny to even think that. And you watch them in America on the TV shows of Doomsday Preppers, and you go, I wouldn't think that being gay is part of their thing.
It's just a thing
it's just how it's there. Come about, and I'm like, it's interesting. It's a nice play. The way the directors or producers worked it out, I'm like, yeah.
No, it just
and
ended up working out.
And
so, in contrast, right? The men live peacefully. When the woman's in charge, it goes to shit.
It did. So what does that tell you?
That tells you that emotional decision making is not a good idea for the apocalypse, because that's what they played it to seem like.
But she was in charge of all those blokes, and they were happy to follow her.
Yeah.
And she walked around with very few weapons, and the other guys, everyone that's with her, was tooled up to the max.
Actually, I think, do you know the white-haired dude?
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure he voiced Tommy in the game.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, so there's a few. There's a few. I might be wrong about that one. I'll double check later. But she does, like, as soon as she gets, when she finds out her son didn't survive, she's like, no, I'm going to kill the doctor that can help people because I'm angry right now. And then she goes, all right, we're going to chase down these people and we're going to sacrifice my group because I'm angry.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? How that goes. Yeah, how they... Yeah.
So was that...
I don't think that's even spoken about. It's just sort of...
It's Look, you don't know. Maybe it was written like that. It was like, oh no, this is how this character was written.
Yeah, because she died, didn't she?
She got destroyed by like
I think a bloater got her.
No, the bloater ripped apart her lieutenant.
Yeah, okay.
But there was just a regular zombie. Remember there was one like climbing up along the fence.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And they jumped at her. So maybe that's how the character was written. Maybe it's a commentary on all leaders and how society should be run, or maybe it's just a TV show.
It's just a TV show. But you don't. Yeah.
You can read into it if you want to. Yeah. It's like, so I know you don't watch YouTube the way that a lot of people my age do. People were complaining that the episode, I think it was episode 6, where they get taken in and they're at the, at the dam, they've got electricity, everyone shares. People were complaining that it's communist propaganda.
Oh.
Yeah, and they go, no, look at this. They're trying to push their agenda because they're saying communism is the right way to go.
That was just their part of survival. That was just how they did it.
But like you can twist anything into anything to fit your agenda.
So in the game, Ellie runs off on horseback. Because Joel's brother won't look after her, and she suddenly finds a horse and then randomly runs off and disappears.
Right. So it's not, hey, we're going to keep searching. Because Joel leaves Ellie with Tommy in the show, because that was his intention. He goes, I can't look after her.
Yeah.
And then Tommy, you finished the mission. Is it not like that?
In the game?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember now. No, Ellie and Joel finished the game together.
No, but like at the commune,
Yeah.
does it
So-
happen that way?
Does
Tommy try and take over? Not try and take over. Does
no,
Joel
Ellie
try
runs off,
Yeah.
and rides off,
Yeah.
and Tommy and Joel ride together to go and find her.
Okay.
And then there's a couple of scenes where there's some dudes that are trying to kill others, and it splits from memory. It splits where sometimes Ellie's in a bit of a scene doing something, sometimes Joel's in a scene
Yep.
with something, and Tom's just an NPC, just doesn't.
He's just around.
Suddenly he appears back again, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad you know what NPC means and you've used it in the correct context.
Well, you didn't have to. I was like,
No,
yeah.
no, you're good. You're like, I don't know if I'm confident
I
enough
know
there,
that
but
bit.
I saw
Yeah,
you
I'm like,
think and use it.
yeah,
and you did
that's
a good
it.
job.
I know.
Yeah.
So who have I told about NPCs? And they went, what? It was something.
It had to have been someone you worked with, surely.
Probably something we were watching on TV, and I go, well, that's an NPC, and it was just some TV show, and I'm like, it was just like a character in the background that was there but was there for a purpose but didn't do anything, didn't say anything, and they couldn't interact
They're
with
just
them.
kind of there.
I'm like, well, that's an NPC.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay.
So do you know how you picked that up? Was that just from playing the games, or did you just
Probably
happen
from
to-
you.
From me?
From
Really?
yeah, because there's stuff. Even when I played some of the other games, there's people. There's people that
They're around in
that
the
are
background.
there that
Yeah.
you are in contact with, and there's others that you aren't in contact. They're just not.
They're just
hanging
I guess
around.
set decoration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
So you mentioned it before, and we're going to get into it now. What injury happened? How did it happen? And
Oh man.
how did it lead you to play Last of Us?
So, in short, I punctured my lung and broke 3 ribs
Right. Now
playing soccer.
Yeah. You did it, or you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time?
I was in the right place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because as a goalkeeper, you dive and save the ball. He kicked the ball. I saved it. His knee came in with my arms exposed and slid in on wet ground, muddy ground, and he just carried on sliding in, hit my ribs, sat on the ground for a few minutes, got up, played on for half an hour,
I think that's where you went wrong there.
and realised I couldn't breathe. From not breathing, I called over to my coach. He got another player on. I went off, couldn't recover, breathe, still was like really struggling, really short breath. By chance, there was a nurse on the sidelines just watching the game. She goes, oh, you may have punctured your lung, you may have broken your ribs. We'll call an ambulance to see what happens. An hour later, I'm watching the next game, half an hour, like the half time goes in the next game and no ambulance. And my friend said, look, I'll just drive you to hospital. I said, but my car's here. I'll get my wife to drive your car to your house with another guy so that she can be driven home, and then I'll drive you to hospital. I go to hospital, went to Werribee Mercy, a nurse at the hospital for triage, because everyone was still wearing masks and all that sort of stuff then. The nurse at the hospital started asking me questions that weren't related to soccer. They were old history questions. So basically, she asked me if I still train jiu-jitsu.
Really? Okay.
And random as. And I'm like, no. I'm like, struggling to breathe. I'm like, no, I don't do that anymore. I haven't done it for ages.
Because that
like,
would all be
oh.
on your hospital records as relevant
I don't
information.
know.
So how would she know? Did you?
Well, I did find out.
Okay.
Anyway, she knew me. I didn't realise she knew me. There's people in the hospital Sunday afternoon. It's busy. There's a girl that came from the same club that I was at that was also injured. She was in a wheelchair, but she was high as a kite, singing, chatting to everyone, just waiting in line. There was another kid sitting down in a chair that had been there for an hour. His mum was sort of a bit distressed about him. I'd walked in, sat down. 10 minutes later, I'm going through triage. I go to the hospital. I go into the.
Because they think it's
Serious.
more serious.
Serious.
And
And
it
the
was
nurse
serious.
and the triage nurse knew me.
Okay. Yeah.
It was serious.
Yes.
So we'll take an X-ray, one X-ray. Normally they take 2 or 3. One X-ray, yeah, you broken ribs, 3 ribs broken. All right. Anyway, lie down. We'll do an MRI scan. I go, I can't breathe. Just breathe as best you can. I'm like, well, I can't.
That's, yeah.
Hold your breath. I'm like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Anyway, she goes, yeah, you punctured your lung. I'm like, all right. They took me into one of their emergency rooms. The doctor goes, we're going to release the pressure on your lung now. He gave me local anaesthetic. This is what I've found out since. He makes an incision under my ribs. Under my arm, my ribs. Pokes his finger in, finds your lung, puts a tube in over the top of your finger, pierces the lung, pulls his finger out, tapes the tube up, and then the tube starts draining the fluid that's in my lung to help me breathe.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's better. And he goes, that's what I said. I found that out afterwards. He did that while I was still awake.
Oh, so you didn't even know that was happening?
I just sit there like this, and I'm on drugs. I'm on whatever painkillers they have for me, and a local
Probably
anaesthetic, oxycodone, or what's the F? Fentanyl.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you're just like having a great time.
Anyway, I was happy. I've got photos of me.
I've got photos of you. You sent me some.
So I send the photos. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like this.
Yeah.
Drugged up.
Yeah, you sent me a photo, and you're like, I can see there's like tubes coming out of you, and that. You're like, hey, I'm having a great time.
So they did this at Werribee Hospital within an hour of me being in there, and I know I know the waiting room's busy.
Yeah.
And then they go, yeah, now we've got this. You're stable. We can't care for you here. I'm like, so we're going to send you to Royal Melbourne in an ambulance. I went, yeah, but had an ambulance call for me before today, and it took a long time to get here.
Yes.
Yeah. Now with the hospital, ambulance came straight away. I sit in the hospital. I sit in the ambulance, and I know the ambulances are busy. Anyway, we're on the drive. We go to Royal Melbourne in the city. They put me on a stretcher. They wheel me into the corridor, and I can see 4 or 5 people in the corridor. And I'm like, all right, I'm 4th or 5th in line. I'm sitting there. I'm high. I'm comfortable. I'm managing the pain, thinking I'm going to be there for an hour, 2 hours, whatever. Again, 15 minutes goes by max. They call me. They take me into the emergency treatment room. They go, we've got a portable X-ray machine. I'm like, I didn't know that existed. Lean forward. We'll put a plate behind your back.
Yep.
Did an X-ray. Yeah, there, the tube's working. Yeah, you're definitely back in 3 lungs. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get you up into the ward later tonight. And I was there for 3 nights. And I'm like, mate, this is top. This is just normal Medicare treatment, no private.
And you just breeze through.
Not
breeze, but like
no. So, first night I'm in the hospital. You're just chilling. I can hear that I'm in a 2-room ward. Yeah, and I could see. I know there's someone next to me, and I'm like, I could hear him there. He couldn't hear me. So I'm like, I'm calling just going, how you going, or nothing. I'm like, all right, he's just giving me zeros. Just I'm flapping the curtain because I could reach that. Nothing. And I can look to see his whiteboard, and because the curtain was pulled back a little bit after a few hours or the next morning or whatever, and it says death. I'm like, oh, that's why he can't hear me. And I was like, nothing. He had a car crash earlier and was done something else and whatever. But so first night was all right. They treat you. They check on you every couple of hours, and you just lying there, just whatever. And then the next morning they say, oh, you can go for a walk if you want. I'm like, oh, good. Let's go for a walk. I'm like,
not knowing that you can't walk. No, because the drugs, the recovery, the breathing,
the tube that's connected to you has got it's like cylinders in a big container, and they go up and down when you breathe. So I can breathe in and watch the air go up and down in this container.
That's got to be pretty
And I'm
cool.
like, oh, that's my lungs. That's I go, and the bleed goes up. And I go,
and I suppose if you're drugged up, that could keep you entertained for an hour.
And I'm watching that. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. That's good. And I'm like, oh, you can go for a walk. I go, the cafe's downstairs. He goes, yeah, you can go there. But if you have any problems with your air, they can't treat you down there. So best you don't go down there. I'm like, I don't need to go down there. I'll just go for a walk around the ward. So I'll walk around the floor, the hospital floor. I go past like 7 or 8 rooms. I do a lap. I come back. I have a chat to one of the doctors. He was one of the triage or nurse doctors that was treating me. And I get back to my room and I'm like, I could do another lap. And I was like, no, I'm actually struggling. Just like 10 minutes walking, and that was it for the day. I'm like, that's not me.
At that point, are you like, okay, now it's serious? Or you're like, okay, now because you obviously you know that you feel injured, and because you felt the injury, but did it then, I guess, settle in or like kick in that, okay, now you're going to have this road of recovery ahead of you?
No.
No? Well, because you
I
have
was
a
still
history
happy.
of getting injured, so
That's
you know.
right. It's
you
like,
know,
it's
this
just
is
another
like, this
one.
is
I've got-
basic stuff.
No, it wasn't. It was quite.
Oh, okay, all right, serious. Not being able to breathe.
So,
Yeah.
so the triage nurse at Werribee Hospital
Yeah.
comes and sees me after I've had my lung pierced and stabilised and that, and they go, we can't treat you here, waiting for an ambulance to go to Royal Melbourne. So the nurse then comes in, and I go, Lee. She goes, yeah, Mike, how are you? And I go, yeah, good. She goes, I was the triage nurse. And I'm like, now that makes sense, because I used to train jiu-jitsu with her.
Right.
Years ago, like,
So it
like
wasn't
15
even, it was,
years ago.
It wasn't even a medical question. It
No.
was kind of a social question.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I knew no. I was like, she goes, you were high, and I was like, yeah. I was like, oh no, actually no, I wasn't high then. I was in a lot of pain.
Oh, yeah, of
I don't
course.
think I was. No, because that was just on triage before I had any medication.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just really in pain, focusing on the pain and just trying to stay stable and not move too fast, because you could move slowly and just sort of hold your ribs in, but know that you couldn't breathe properly. And it was like that was it.
Now, were you getting, not special treatment, but special consideration because of your age? Because I thought I heard you say something about that in the beginning.
No,
No.
it was more about my occupation. So it said on the first line of the paperwork, because they give you the paperwork to go onto the hospital with, and you go on the next week. It says 51-year-old male, what was it? COB. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
Not quite.
No, not son of a bitch, COB, short, no, SOB. That's right, SOB, sorry.
Yeah.
SOB. I'm like, SOB, what's that?
You really love the 3-letter acronyms.
And I'm like, man, that's mental. What does she mean? I'm like, shortness of breath.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
And that's probably why they were, and then,
They're like, hey, this is like a breathing issue. No breathing, no life.
and that's
sorted out.
probably why I was
Yeah.
looked after quickly. And,
Yeah.
and look, the hospital nurses at both hospitals, really good. There was a nurse that was overseeing my treatment at Royal Melbourne that I didn't speak to until the day I was being discharged, and she goes, "Yeah, I've been overlooking you. I've been the one authorising your medication." I went, "Oh, thank you.
It's like, hey, you've done a great job.
You've done fine." And she wrote me my sick certificate. She goes, "Look, I'll send it in the post. It'll be 6 weeks minimum. You'll be fine." I said, "What if I'm not after 6 weeks?" She goes, "Just go see your doctor when you get home. Check in with him, let him know what's going on. He'll go and see you after 6 weeks. If not, he'll write you 2 more weeks." I'm like, it's that easy.
Did
She
you
goes,
end up
"Well,"
having to do the extra 2 weeks?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
did 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And basically, I saw the doctor as soon as I got back home. And the doctor goes, "All right, that's it. It's just a ribs take time. You're just going to be on your own. I'll see you in this after the 6 weeks."
Of course.
So after the 6 weeks, I went to see him. He goes, "How you feeling?" And I go, "Look, it's still sore. It's this, it's that." And then he goes, "All right, here's 2 more weeks." And I'm like, I went to see him after 8 weeks. And then he goes, "How are you?" And I go, "I'm bored." And he goes, "You in pain?" And I go, "I'm bored." I'm like, "I really need to go back to work." I said, "Look, it's a little bit sore. I can walk around, I can run, I can still do everything as normal. It's just a little bit painful."
What about
but
lifting weight? Was that
no problem?
not a problem?
No problem.
Okay.
Um,
That's a good sign.
the only thing that was hard for the first couple of weeks was doing sit-ups.
Yeah, of course, because it's all
Yeah,
the core
that's it.
and
Yep,
your,
yep.
your center section,
That's it.
so it's all
After
yeah.
that, I'm fine. And I'm like, and I'm back to normal. I'm like, so I can play soccer again? No.
No.
Yeah, I can, and I have.
Yeah. It's
No.
just is that no from mum?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
She thought I was just playing friendlies, and I was.
Yeah.
And training.
Yeah.
And then she found out I was in goal.
Yep.
And I've pulled off some saves, and felt comfortable doing everything as normal. But it's only in training environment. It wasn't in a game. When she knew that there was games coming up, she went, "You're not playing those games, are you?" And I went, "No."
No.
I went,
No is the correct answer I'm going with.
And I haven't. And I'm like, I spoke to the coach and the manager, and I'm like, yeah, I just gotta pull the pin.
Yeah.
Just
So you know
Yeah.
when I don't know if you've seen, there are fossils when I guess when arrows would pierce deer and they would survive, and then eventually when they do die, they'll still have an arrow in them, and the bone would grow around it. Do you reckon your ribs have grown back to the way they have been, or?
I'd like to see an X-ray, to be honest. I haven't seen it, so only the injury, and you could see three. It was like the upper three ribs,
Yeah.
or three. I can't remember what number, but it was higher up, and they just heal themselves.
Do you reckon it feels any different?
I can feel where. So psychologically, I know where the scar is, and when I feel it, I go, "Oh yeah." I'm like, can I feel pain or not? I don't know. It's just
You feel something, but
Yeah,
it's not.
so-
it's not discomfort.
so-
It's just different.
so that's a prime spot for a tattoo
Yes.
to cover up the scar.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting,
Yeah.
and I've got to wait another year and a half yet.
Yeah.
And if she finishes year 12, we'll go and get a tattoo. I don't know what we're going to get.
So I thought that you were completely against tattoos.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
a-
no.
like, completely.
So when I was backpacking with my mate,
Yep.
we were going to get tattoos. We just couldn't decide on what or where.
Yeah.
And it came up and down in conversation a few times. And
What were the suggestions? Do you remember?
lions, because
What, like cross your back?
I'm Leo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, like star
star
sign
sign sort of
Yeah.
stuff. That was the sort of thing we were looking at. Not a big thing, but something probably on your back where it can be covered most of the time, but shown if you want it shown.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I think mum's against tattoos just because of the needle aspect.
yeah,
Or-
yeah.
or
She's
maybe
dead-
even like
she's-
the appearance. So
she's-
she's afraid for herself,
Yeah.
but also by proxy everyone else.
So I've seen the results of poor needlework.
Yep.
And
Like the infection afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah.
So several times, but I've also seen the result of good needlework. So I can see both sides of it, but I'm happy to have a tattoo. If I have
Now
to
you
get
do
one.
know that the ribs are one of the most painful places to get
Yeah,
the tattoos.
that's why that's the problem. If I do, I'm like, I don't know.
But like once it's done, there's
that's right.
There's a picture, there's a story, there's everything there.
So
You're old enough.
we'll see. It's a year away
Yeah.
yet. So that's when your sister finishes year 12.
Yeah, she said something funny to me the other day. So when I make clips for the podcast, I'll have just like conversation, the subtitles, normal material. When people use other people's content that they don't have permission to use, they'll have other footage playing at the same time. So like mobile phone games or just like ASMR, but in the sense of it, like it's like imagery
Yeah.
or like calming, people playing with slime. And she told me that her favorite section of not what she's meant to be watching to watch is Asian people cleaning the house.
What?
I don't know. She's like, hey, it's just the best. She just really likes specifically Asian people cleaning the house.
Okay.
I don't know why, but she
Man,
does.
hey, there's something for everyone. So
But like, I
it's-
don't.
Is it a height thing? Is it a?
I don't
a
know.
na- Is it a,
I
a
don't know.
race
Maybe
thing?
they just very good at it. But when I asked her why, she goes, "It's just so satisfying." It's like, but anyone cleaning the house? She's like, "No, Asian people do it differently." And I'm like, "No, I want to phrase that better." She's like, "But they do," and
Okay.
there's no racism behind
No,
it.
it's pure innocence
Yeah.
in way she says it. But that's funny. I wonder if she knows. Yeah. Oh, she's All right. Well, let's
India. I've had that written in my notes for like 6
Yeah.
months. I was
Yeah.
gonna bring it up last time.
Man,
I was like, I gotta save this.
that's bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go with that.
No, I don't know
it's
either.
Probably
It's just-
better best left alone and go. All right.
Yeah. Like there's videos of like people like organizing their kitchen. There's
Yeah.
like that sort of thing.
That's it.
But nope. Sweeping, dusting,
Okay.
maybe mopping. I don't know.
I'm not even gonna bother looking for those videos, but
Nah. So after you were diagnosed with 8 weeks of
Yeah.
sitting around doing nothing, I heard this and I go, you know what would be perfect? You've been told you have to sit around and do nothing. Not nothing, but like no
yeah,
movement.
the minimal movement was best.
Yes.
Literally just sit down and do nothing all day. Watch movies, play
And-
games.
Yeah, I'm an expert at that. I did that for 10 years for fun. So
Yeah.
I go, all right, I know what would best not pass the time, but would also like give you some sort of interest, because you could
Yeah.
you could watch as many TV shows and movies as you want, but it's the interactivity that will keep your brain going.
Yeah.
So I sourced my old PS4, loaded up a couple of games that I thought you would like, made sure everything was up to date, made sure it didn't need to be.
What was the Japanese game you gave me?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. I didn't really get into it. I started playing it and got a little way into it, and I was like, oh. I liked Uncharted.
Yes.
That was another one you gave me, and there was like 3.
So I'll list off all the games because I think I remember. I gave you, there was.
Oh yeah, there was a couple that were not.
All right, so that one, Destroy All Humans.
That was terrible. I
Okay,
played it.
well,
I
that
played
was
it for
like-
about 5 minutes, and I was like, oh no, maybe an hour. And I'm like, that is terrible. That is
Okay,
the
so
worst
in
game.
my defense, it is an older game, and I thought it was like, all right, silly fun. Maybe on the off chance you'll enjoy just like mindlessly destroying shit. Maybe you would. So I put it on there anyway.
Yeah,
That was a bust. You didn't even try Spider-Man, did you?
I didn't.
No. See, that one is
Probably would have been all right too.
yeah, that one's a
Because I
well-made
probably
game.
remember seeing you playing that one, where you go around collecting things and you
Yeah,
do your
like,
Spider-Man stuff to pick
I
up and carry
100% of that game in a week when you got it for me for Christmas,
Okay.
and just smashed it out. Like,
Yeah.
it's very easy to pick up if you
Yeah, I
want to get in
didn't.
depth.
I
You
didn't
can.
play that at all.
That's all right.
But Uncharted I played.
Yes. What was the first game you played? It wasn't, because I put XCOM 2 on there, knowing that we both have liked board games for years. That was the
XCOM 2. I don't
it
think
plays like Zombicide, but digital and aliens. Where there's like the board with the grid, different characters have different weapons with different stats.
Nah, I didn't play much of that at all.
I would have thought, like, I tried to recommend that to you to play first, because I was coming from an angle of you haven't played games for much of your life.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise, I've way gone past,
yeah.
and I thought a good way to pick up something simple. You didn't need to, like, I guess, learn how to aim. You didn't have to learn. You just had to learn like what each button was and where it was. This would have been a good game to teach you. You you understand what mechanics are for board games, so
Yeah.
I thought that would be
So
a clear
the
winner.
ones I liked a lot were The Last of Us, Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and
I actually started you off with 4 and then put 1, 2, and 3.
Oh,
on
you
there
did
later.
too. That's right.
Well, because that was the most. So 1, 2, and 3 are from PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 days.
Okay.
So Uncharted 4 is all
That's
that but
it,
refined.
yes.
It's you could play it separately on its
Yeah,
own.
I did. I played the fourth one on
Yeah.
its own, and then went back to go 1, 2, 3. There was another one I was going to say. Oh, Assassins.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
So I still like that.
Yep.
Haven't completed it, and I can still dip into it for an hour or two. And
As
then,
in haven't completed the story?
I don't know. There's still stuff on it to do.
Okay.
There's still red parts of the map.
So do you remember
Level.
like a boss fight? Not a boss, so like you're
The
fighting.
gang fights.
You play as so you're playing as both Jacob and Evie.
Yeah.
And like at the same time, and there's a fight where both of them are fighting an enemy Templar,
No,
and he's
I
got a
haven't done
staff.
that yet. No.
No. Okay, so that's the end of the game.
Yeah, I'm way off that.
So
I
you
reckon.
haven't finished it.
There's story. So there's some. Is it level or stage 8?
It is level. So I think level 9 is the maximum.
So level 8, there's still stuff I haven't uncovered, and level 9, obviously, there's still not.
Yep.
I found the World War One game that you thought was World War Two, or was it?
I made a
No,
mistake.
sorry,
there.
was it
No,
World
no,
War
no,
Two and you
no,
said
no,
World-
it was World War.
No, I said
Winston
it.
Churchill's online, and there's
It's World War
Zeppelins.
Two.
It is World War Two. Yeah. What are you gonna do there? You're trying
I
to.
thought you said it was World War One.
I think I thought it was World War One, and then you figured out because it had been. I hadn't played that game since 2017.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, maybe 16.
But
Yeah,
it's
it happened a
funny.
while.
It's funny. You can play the game and just walk up to someone that you know that you're not supposed to kill, and you can just go
Yep.
and just carry on walking.
And then it will tell you, hey, these people didn't kill innocent civilians. And then it just
I'm
goes,
like, I don't care. I'll
yeah,
just go and
that's
do
all
it.
right. Yeah. And that's not even a you thing. Everybody does that.
I find it funny. You just and you see the red coat guys sometimes in the street, and it
Yeah.
goes, "Oh, go and break up the fight, whatever." And you're at a level where you can jump and you land there in between them, and you can go, and then it's like 3 of them dead.
Instantly.
Or you bring your green gang, because I leveled up the top with the green gang. I pick up 3 or 4 of them, and I sort of walk over towards wherever the dispute is. And I just go to the green guys, yeah, deal with that. And I'll walk off and I'll just watch them do it. And if they die, they die. If they win, they win. And I'm like, all right.
So I'm pretty sure that Assassin's Creed Syndicate was the last Assassin's Creed game that plays like that, because then it becomes an RPG, a role-playing game,
Yeah.
where it's all about the stats attached to what gear you're wearing, And
Oh,
so I think the very first one after that is you're in ancient Egypt now.
yeah.
So it's the very start of the Assassin Order, and it's so like if you imagine the police force for ancient Egypt, they're the Magi.
Yep.
So your character starts as one of the Magi, your son gets kidnapped, and you're tracking down the people. They end up being the Templars, the people who you're fighting.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
how those orders kind of start.
Yeah.
So you go through ancient Egypt.
So that syndicate is in like 19th century England, 1800s.
I think it's 1889.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it and I'm like, oh yeah, it's the Industrial Revolution in England. There's all these little things going on. And
That's the latest that they put the Assassin's Creed franchise, except for
World
in
War
the
II
modern
bit.
day. Well, no, the modern, the World War
Oh,
II
yeah.
bit and the modern day sections of the other games where
Yeah.
you're playing in 2012, 2020.
yeah. No, that's all right. So
Yeah.
that's come so far forward to when I was your age playing computer games. So we have an audio cassette. There would have been the RGB, the red, green, blue cables
Yep.
into the computer.
Red, green, blue, or red,
Green-
yellow, white?
red, yellow, white. I don't
Yeah.
know. Well,
Red, yellow, white
RGB.
because no,
Red,
RGB,
green, blue.
RGB does stand for red, green, blue, but for old technology, like for the Xbox, for example,
Yeah.
the cables at the back. Yellow was for picture, white was for the left speaker, red was for the right speaker.
anyway,
Yeah.
whatever those cables were.
Yep.
We're talking a long time ago.
Yep. Oh,
You
that was
put
still
the-
there in my
you
time.
cable it all in.
Yeah.
All right. You press play on the game. On the screen, you get the sound of a fax machine. Makes all those screeching sort of noises.
Yep, like the
There's
the
different
startup.
color lines flashing across the screen.
Yep.
It's a bit of what do you call it?
Like when there's no signal for an analog TV. Like you're connected,
Yes,
but the actual
yes.
station is not.
Yeah, but
airing
it's almost
anything.
an epileptic.
Oh, so it flashes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, great.
So it's doing that. So that goes. So I used to think it went for a really long time, but I think it was only about 10 minutes. And
That's
if the game
still a long
loaded,
time.
if the game loaded,
Yeah.
fine, you play the game. Sometimes you get this error message, adjust the volume and try again.
Really?
So you turn the volume down on your cassette player, rewind the tape, and wait another 10 minutes to load your game. And the games, there was some. So this was a Spectrum 48K. I'm not talking terabytes.
Nope.
K.
Yep.
48.
No, kilobytes.
I'm like, man, this
small.
isn't a lot. This
Yeah.
isn't a lot. So my friend had a 64K. I'm like, he was the gun.
Yeah.
The upgrade for the the upgrade for the 48K was a 128. So the Spectrum was in competition with Commodore. So Spectrum 48K original ones, I think, came out with a cassette player separate. The 64K came out with a cassette player incorporated into the keyboard, next to the keyboard. And then the 128K had it incorporated, and it was just sort of upmanship
So
all
with
the way
all
along.
this extra pieces of gear, how much would a system like this would cost even back in the
I
day?
don't think it was a lot. It wasn't massive. My brother and I had one to share, and we bought heaps of cassettes.
Like even
and
when I was
because
5.
it was cassettes,
Yeah.
you could have a double cassette player like this.
Yeah.
You press play in one, record in the other, and I could record a game for you. And that's how we used to borrow games to each other.
Hey, that's pretty
And
good.
you'd have it on an audio tape, and you plug it in. You'd set your volume. The volume was at about 60% because it was one of those ones where you couldn't actually see the number.
Yeah.
It was just sort of dial on the side.
Yeah, but if you see the dial, you can make markings from like if you go completely low, you mark
Yeah,
it
but
at
it
1.
goes like 3/4 of a circle. So you never.
Yeah.
So-
Well, okay. For this one, for example, right? If this goes all the way to the left, right?
Yeah.
If this doesn't, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you mark there with a texter
Yeah.
1, and then you go as fast or right as you can. You mark 10. You go halfway. You
All right,
mark 5.
all right. So these dials would be on the side, and you'd only get half of the circle or a quarter of the circle.
Yeah.
So what
could
mark
still-
would
oh,
it
no,
line
it-
up with?
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah, it would be.
So you
there'd
have-
be
so-
much less space.
So you'd go all the way to the end, and then sort of, it'd be like 4 turns to go max, and then you go back 1 turn, and that would be generally about how you did it.
It's like
and then
rough,
and then
yeah.
you play the game, and then sometimes while you're playing the game, you'd get to a really critical part of the game, and the screen would freeze,
Of course.
and it crashes,
Yeah.
and it doesn't save.
So if
Rewind
that
the
is-
tape, press
yeah.
another 10 minutes goes by, and you're watching the screen flash.
It must be a mindset thing because if that happened to people today, they'd be complaining online to everyone. People would boycott
we had
the
no
game.
online.
No, exactly.
We had nothing. It was just you sit and wait. So some of the games we had Horace Goes Skiing, which was so lame, and it was this 8-bit sound.
Yep.
Terrible.
So when you say 8-bit, my mind immediately goes to your old ringtone, like the Superman stuff you had on the Nokia, whatever.
the
like
Nokia
brick.
3230 whatever phone.
Yep. And I remember there's a specific memory in maybe 2000 and I want to say 6 in the fish and chip shop, waiting for the order to come in, and your phone rings like while you're talking. You go, hang on, I gotta take this. I remember here the.
It would have been something like James Bond or Beverly Hills Cop.
Yep, that was the other one.
Or Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Now, that Ghostbusters theme tune comes from a game that I used to play in the auto cassette. It was a Ghostbusters.
Right,
I'm not going to
what
go
year
for
did
it.
Ghostbusters?
And it was like terrible.
Yeah, just like it's like not even. It's not digital sound. It's something else.
I think they've just got 8 notes. I think, is that what 8-bit was?
I think so.
And
Well, no, because
and
8-bit is more for the resolution, because it goes 8-bit, 16-bit, and then there's 32 and 64.
So it's not 8 notes. It's so the other thing you could do on the Nokia phone, you could plug it. You could with the 9 or 10 digits, 1 to 0, 1 to 9 and 0. You could use those as notes, and you could plug in your own and make your own tune.
Yep.
And depending on how long you press the note for is how long the note was,
I guess like a piano,
roughly.
just like a 9-digit piano.
So you get these codes, and if you wanted
How would you get these codes though?
yeah, I'll get to that.
Okay.
That wasn't legit either. So people found them out and go, I've got this code. It's 6643288448178, and it'd be like 50 numbers.
Yep.
And you press them and it comes out like, oh, that is the code. That's that. Oh, I know that tune.
Yeah.
Years ago, they used to have 1-800 numbers on the back of magazines.
Yep.
And it'll be dial 1-800 to get these ringtones, and you'd pay
99 cents.
well, back then it would have been about 50 cents, but
Okay, yeah.
it would have.
Because that started to bleed over to. I remember when my sister and I first got iPod Touch,
Yeah.
and we didn't really know that it wasn't a phone. So we were looking up ringtones.
That would have been the same sort of stuff.
Yeah, but we would see. I remember Mum panicking when she saw a $sign next to a thing that we wanted to download because we weren't sure. And she
That's
goes,
it. No, don't download that.
No.
So it was like that basically, and you just play the old. So if you knew the numbers, and if you were a musician or musically minded, you knew what numbers sounded in what way, and you could make your own.
1 translated to A minor.
Yeah, that's it.
2 translated to B minor.
That's it. And I think if you pressed and held a number down, it would be the second character of that number. Because the old Nokias, you press it and it's 2. You press and hold it and it goes ABC.
Yeah, because like it was.
Or B.
Doesn't it start at 2? So 2 is ABC.
It might have been actually. That's sad if I remember that.
So it was ABC, D, E, F,
Because 1 would have been like dot, comma.
GHI. No, because 5 is JKL, and then it's MNO,
MNO,
and then PQRS for 7.
Then TUV.
Yep.
Oh god, that's sad.
Yeah. No, but you see, if I know that, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
But
okay.
that's how it was. That's
Yeah.
So
No,
we had
because
those games.
That was my first phone. So you wouldn't let me get a smartphone when I first went to high school, and I hated that. So I had to have made do. So on the bus, I would listen to like 1019 The Fox, because the only thing that my phone could do was connect to the radio and call people. That's it. You laugh now. I hated it so much. I had to wait till year 9 to get a smartphone.
Yeah.
That's when the next younger sister got into high school, and she got the
got one
smartphone at the
straight
same
away.
time. And I was like, what is this bullshit?
Yeah. It's just...
But I do remember the phone, the digits specifically from that.
So when you were growing up, there's a battle, and it still probably is now.
Yeah.
With technology, safety, and just what parents are comfortable with their kids having.
Yes.
And we were like, well, you just need a phone to call us. That's it. He doesn't need it for anything else. Whereas now,
But see, everyone had it as well, though. Like, that's the
Yeah.
thing. So while, yes, that logic makes sense,
Yeah.
you get that sort of social isolation of
okay. Yeah.
everyone else had it, but I don't. So it looks... But and I didn't understand that when I was 12. So it's not really your fault, but I still blamed you. Yeah.
Yeah. But those phones still work. You could charge one of them up
no
now.
question.
You could throw it.
Yep.
It would land on concrete,
Yep.
and it would still ring.
I think the one you got me was not quite. Okay, yes, it would still ring, but it would still, like, the back would come apart and the battery could pop out.
Yeah, okay.
So with the HTC phones that you got after that,
Yeah.
'cause it wasn't even iPhone and it wasn't a Galaxy, it's a fucking HTC.
Yeah, the cheap ones.
So when Steph eventually bought her own iPhone,
Yeah.
she gave me her old phone because my battery would only last an hour and a half. So I'd have two phones in my pocket, and when one of the batteries would die out, to make sure I still had all the data, I'd take the backs off, swap the batteries around, and then I had another 3 to 4 hours.
There you go. See?
And then, whenever I get in trouble at school and they'd say, hand in your phone, I'd
hand
hand
in
in
the
the one
dead
with the
one.
dead battery. Yeah, of course. Because that's just how
Yeah.
I played it. And you know what?
There you go. See, but you
Look,
managed it.
yeah, silver lining there.
So,
It's still annoying.
man. So, all right. Going back to the games.
Yes.
There's a game in my head. I won't tell you the name of the game yet, but it had about 100 screens that you had to work your way through. It was a miner, as in someone who digs for gold.
Yep.
And he'd go around through the screen, and you have to progress through that screen to get to the next screen. And you could probably go backwards and forwards, and there'd be secret rooms to go from screens to go to others.
Yep.
And there'd be 100 pages, which would be like really hard to think about how to do it. But one of the magazines that we used to get
It'd just be a map, wouldn't it?
had a map, and it was like a 100-page map, and it was on eight page was an A4 sheet.
Yeah.
There'd be like 100 pages, and then someone got it and photocopied it, and then everyone was getting it around, and it's black and white. I need it in color because of the. Oh,
So
well,
just get a couple of pencils and colour it in, you'll be
we
fine,
did.
yeah?
We coloured it in. So there's this big sheet of all these screens, and you're like, what's that one? I think it was in a house.
Yeah.
And it was like multiple stories and garden and various other bits and pieces and outhouses, and there was a room at the top that suddenly went into a spaceship, and then there was another piece of the map. I'm like, well, where's that? Oh, we didn't get that. That was like
It's like a missing page.
like an Easter egg that
Oh,
you didn't
yeah,
get.
yeah.
You know, like back then. And then you go into this spaceship and it takes off, and you go to the moon or go to a planet or something, and you do some other activities. You're like, okay, how do I get back? And you got to work out how to get back. And anyway, the game was called. I had it in my head. It was
Start with an A, B, C, D.
no.
E.
He was a miner.
So M, maybe.
No. Jet Set Willy.
There you go.
And I'm like, how do you even get that? And it turned out that Willy was the miner,
Yep.
and he was a fly because the jet set bit was the secret to get to the moon.
Right.
Jet Set Willy, and I'm like, that's just the freakiest name for a game. Never heard of it before.
Yeah.
Never heard of it since. But there was a couple of games. There was that
so
one.
what would you play that game on? Because when you started describing the miner game, I was thinking of back in the study when there'd be a computer that everyone would use on a big desk with the box attached to the back.
Yeah,
of
like
the
a normal
screen.
TV.
Yeah, like a normal TV for the 2000s, and there was a disc with maybe 100 or so games, and one of them was a side-scrolling game. Maybe it was styled as not 8-bit, but maybe 16-bit, maybe
Yeah,
32-bit.
okay. Yeah.
And it was in color. You would mine through, and I thought you were talking about that initially. So
No, it was
what
old. This is the 80s.
So what would you play it on then?
It would have been on a TV. So you put your computer in front of the TV, plug it
The
all in.
computer in front of the TV.
Oh, sorry, your computer
like a
keyboard.
box, yeah.
It wasn't even a desktop. It wasn't even a.
Just a device that with storage in it that had this game. That
No, you
needed
got to
an
put it on a
output.
cassette. You got to load it in a cassette. It was that era.
But if the cassette is a tape that goes around, how does that
How does
translate?
it record? So I'm guessing the keyboard had some sort of memory in it.
Okay.
I don't remember any separate part other than the keyboard must have had some memory in it. And load the game into the keyboard. The keyboard's connected to the screen, and then just sit there and play on the small TV. You weren't allowed to play it on the big TV
No, of course.
because I don't know why, but
Yeah.
we had it on a
Dad's
small
watching
TV.
sport.
No. We just don't use the big TV. It was just it'd be in a cupboard. It'd be one of those old style.
Yeah.
The TV's in a cupboard that used to close.
So okay, so you started to bring that in when we first got the Xbox. Do you remember there was a black TV cabinet?
Yeah, but the TV was outside the cabinet.
Yeah, but the Xbox wasn't, and you put a lock on there.
Oh,
once.
yeah.
Okay, so when I was playing the Fantastic Four game, I would be playing it for more than 2 hours a day, which to you, too much. Same to Mum, because it would rot your brain. It
but
would
you
turn
would've
your
been-
eyes square.
You'd have been about 7.
Yeah, and it took me a very long time to figure out that turn your eyes square meant get glasses, but I was already genetically predisposed to get glasses anyway, so it
Yeah.
made no difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
No.
Dunno.
No, there no hope. Everyone in the family wears his glasses.
Yeah, they do now.
Yeah. But
But,
there's no
yeah.
chance. So I remember that you put a lock to stop me from, like on
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
But I was small enough to get behind the TV unit and unlock it from the other side.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
No, definitely. I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then go back and lock it up before you
So-
came home from work.
So any sort of security only.
Temporary.
No, it only protects. What's the word? It's any level of security in a house, in a building, like you see movies where the highest level of security, a thief will break in. There's just
So
once they
think
know it.
of
So,
Kaleidoscope, because we both watched
yes.
that recently.
Yeah. Any
Any
level
level.
of security is breakable, or you can get in. It just I suppose it keeps the opportunist thief away.
Yep.
Yeah. If they want to get in, they'll find out what your strobe light does. If it goes off, who comes? How long does it take them to get here? Mm-hmm. Okay, it's going to go off. I've got 10 minutes. Doesn't matter if it goes off. No one comes.
Mm-hmm.
No one's at the house. So the strobe's gone off. The alarm's been activated. I don't worry about I don't worry about deactivating the alarm. It's protecting something valuable.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's there in the first place. So I've got 10 minutes. The guy comes in the security car. Yeah, someone's broken in. Yeah, we better send the police. The police aren't in a hurry. So any level of security. So going back to your one, that was just a little cheap lock.
Oh yeah, the key wasn't even like that was. It wasn't really a key. It was put a piece of metal that had something sticking out to
Pretty
click
much.
something.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was 7, so I didn't really
Yeah.
know. I thought you needed the key,
Yeah.
so I had to go in and like just
Yeah.
because it was like an L-shaped piece.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was go in and push it one way so it pops out the other, and then the cabinet can open.
There you go. See?
Yeah. So you were training me to, like, I guess, break into places.
It's all right. Like I said, it's just a level of security that only stops the innocent or
Yeah. Or the
opportunist.
unwilling. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to do it, you'll get in. Whatever. You can upgrade the level, and it just makes it harder to get in, but you still find a way around it. Like any computer game, you find your way around it.
Yeah.
And get through, and you just go, all right, I've got to battle 10 monsters instead of 6.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all right. You find your way, and that I guess that sort of logic even translates to just playing games. Because Last of Us, like you said, the second time you played, you don't even have to. You already know where to go and what to do, so you can say, "I'm going to skip these enemies, sneak through here. This is the best path." You know what the timing is.
So there's a part in the Last of Us game where I played. I reckon I would have played for about 3 hours, and I'm with.
Clickers.
Yeah, there's clickers coming at me.
Yep.
There's clickers, there's zombies, and I'm with the black dude, Henry.
Henry.
I'm with Henry. Ellie and Sam have got out, and Joel and Henry are there. They're coming. We get the zombies. We go bang, bang. We kill the first few. We throw bombs. We throw the stun guns. We blow them up. They're still coming. And we're dying. I'm like, I can't kill these zombies. And I was playing it for 2 or 3 hours. Get a bit further, die. Get a bit further, die. Go, die. And then I was working out. I played it. I looked at it. I'm like, where's Henry? I'm on my own here. No wonder I
It's like
keep
Henry's
dying.
doing nothing.
No. Henry's run to the door that Ellie and Sam have already gone through.
Okay, yeah.
And he just isn't. He may have called. You don't hear it because there's that much stuff going on, and you almost die, and you get your pack on, and you put a band-aid on, and you got your life back.
Yeah.
Which they didn't put on a TV show, which is kind of good.
Well, also Joel doesn't crouch around because Pedro Pascal's like 48 years old,
Yeah.
and his knees don't work that well.
Yeah, and that was good where they showed he's getting old and harder to deal with all that sort of stuff. So that was all right.
Yeah.
But in this part of the game, you could see a pattern coming. So sort of there's like wave after wave after wave of zombies coming at you, and then the clickers are coming, and the clickers come near you, and if you don't shoot them straight away, they'll come and kill you, and you're dead. And I'm like, all right, I see there's 2 or 3 clickers coming. I could throw a stun. Is it a stun? And then they sort of fade a bit, and then you could throw a bomb, and then they die. And you go, all right, I've got 4 or 5 of them. And then as you're doing that, there's another part on the right that they come down, and there's normal zombies that come and attack you, and you can go, all right, I can fight them. But now the other ones are coming in, and another wave's coming in. And I'm on my own, and I'm like, why do I keep dying? And then I retreat back into this room behind me after I've done the first wave. And I'm like, what's Henry doing by that door? And I squeeze to where Henry is. And Henry goes, here, we can get out. And I'm like, I don't actually have to kill them.
No.
And I didn't know that.
Well, I think that's because you're thinking of it as problem head on. This is how you
Yes.
solve it, because that's how it is in real life. A problem, find a solution. Games don't always work like that.
No, I didn't know that.
No,
and it
but
took
you
me
see-
ages.
That's what everyone goes through. That's why I was
And
like,
I'm
hey,
like,
if you like, I know that you
oh my
haven't played games,
God.
you're going to go through all these things for the first time.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to talk about it in a way that we never have before.
I felt stupid after I found out. 'Cause the second time I played it,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know the zombies coming. I can throw and lob and stun the first lot.
Yeah.
And then grab whatever's around the room because there'd be some weapons or something to pick up. And then run out the back. And he goes, here, go out through here. And you go out through here and they pretend they're pushing the door closed for the zombies rushing at the door. And the door closes and you're like, we're done.
Yep.
I'm like, that was easy. And I did that 3 or 4 times throughout the game for different scenarios. And I'm like, oh, this is boring now. This is like, I know how to do it.
Is that
Like,
maybe because you, like, that mystery is gone, that's why you didn't enjoy it as much the second
Yeah,
time?
I reckon. So even the second time when I went to the school hall and the bloaters throwing crap at me,
Yep.
I knew to go to the opposite end of the hall in the corner and wait. And while I was waiting there, I turned around and I'm like, there's a room there. I go in the room and it's got some weapons that kill the bloater like really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I wish I'd have known that. And I've gone bang bang, he's like dead. I'm like, ah. I used to run up to one end, lob stuff at him. The bloater would lob stuff back at me. He'd kill a bit. I'd sort of get a little bit. I'd run around. You recover because when you play the game, you can get a little bit injured and then recover.
Yep.
And you sort of you're
It's not quite like that in real life.
yeah, I know that.
So,
And he recovers and Bill doesn't get injured. Ellie doesn't really get injured. They sort of stay around. They stay near where you are.
Yep.
So it's only you run as far away as you can. He lobs stuff at you. You lob stuff at him. He gets close to you. You run all the way to the other end. And I was doing that like 4 or 5 times. And I'm like, oh, that's how you get through it. And I ran to the other end. And I'm like, oh, there's a cupboard here. Oh, Jesus, there's some good stuff in here.
yeah.
Rummage through it, pick everything up. Bloater's coming my way. I'll go boom, boom. And he's almost dead. I get to the other end. I go boom, boom. He's dead. I'm like, oh, that's boring.
So you need something new and fresh.
Or play it at a harder level.
So,
I don't think I'm going to play it again.
nah, don't worry about that then. I'll make sure I'll get you a copy
Yeah.
of that second game to play. Because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, you know almost nothing about the second game.
I've seen Ellie kill a dog. Don't know how.
Yeah.
Don't know where the dog came from.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a zombie dog. Might have just been a Fedra or a Firefly attack dog or whatever. But that's all I saw. And Ellie looked like she was more on her own. So maybe that's what the second game's about.
Well, we'll get that sorted out because I think you will enjoy it, especially after like watching the first
Oh, it's
season.
fine. I'm not injured anymore, so I don't have to
No.
sit down and play games all day.
You don't have to. You still have you found that you've played games much at all since recovering, or you're
Not
just too
really.
busy?
Not really. A little bit.
Yeah.
So one morning I was waiting. I was like, I've got to do something at 11 o'clock. It's 9:30. I'll just play the game for an hour. 11:30 came. The phone call didn't happen. I'm still playing the game. 1 o'clock came. The phone call didn't happen. And I'm like, I need to just put this game down. And I was playing one of the Assassin's Creed, the Assassin's Syndicate one. And doing little missions and dropping things in and out and doing the climbing and running around and falling and doing all that sort of stuff. Changing between the two characters. What's the two characters' names?
Jacob and Evie.
Yeah, Jacob and Evie. So changing between the two, doing little bits and pieces with them. And I'm like, I've played this game I've been sitting here for 4 hours. I really need to just put it
happens.
down.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It's a waste of a day.
So
Put
I
it
do
down and go and
agree.
do stuff.
Recently, like in doing everything in the past couple of months, everything that I've organised, had to do. There is no time for games unless you go. All right, this weekend, I don't have any plans.
Yeah.
I don't have any commitments. I'm gonna just sit down and enjoy.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah.
that's really
I don't get that. So the Syndicate game is how old? It's like
2015.
And the graphics on that are good enough. I'm happy. I don't need modern graphics. I don't need all the fancy.
Yeah, but you are right. It is good enough.
But it's good enough to play, and it's really playable. I'm like, I can play it, and there's still things to do in it. So if I set aside a couple of hours,
Yep.
like in the afternoon, do that rather than do it in the morning and then go, oh man, it's been 4 hours and I'm still here.
Yep.
I'm like, no, just.
Just go and be
And I went,
productive
all right,
for
just
a bit.
finish this last. Don't do anything else. Just finish that last bit. And because sometimes when you play Assassins, you can walk around and all of a sudden you're walking into this is what do you call it, the restricted territory, whatever it is.
Yep.
And before you know it, you started a mission that I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that one. And you got to free the kids, and you got to not set the alarm off, and you sort of subtly kill people rather than go with the gun.
Just a stealth mission that takes longer.
Yes,
Because,
yeah. And
that's how
you're
it's
in that.
played.
So I do that, and then I'm like, oh, I did it. I didn't set the alarm off. All right, but the bells are still there. So I've got to kill everyone. Done that. Free the kids. Done that. Now go find the bells and knock them out in case something else happens down the track where they go in and set the alarm off, and then more things happen. And I'm like, mate, it's just never ending.
It's
just
always
gotta,
one more task, one more task.
no,
one more
you
task.
just got to go put it down.
Yep.
So-
that hard quit is what a lot of people struggle with. I struggled with it for years as well.
Now, you gave me 2 remotes.
Yes.
One's always on charge.
Yep.
So when I was sick, I'd leave one on charge. It's charging while I'm playing, and it goes red, and I'm like, it's running out. I just get up, put it down, put it on charge, pick the other one up, and carry on playing.
That was completely intentional because that's what I did as early as 2014, maybe 2013.
So now, if one charger goes out,
Yep.
put it down. That's finished.
That's a
Go.
very good way to
Put it
monitor
down and go.
yourself.
And I don't know how long it takes.
Yep.
Depends how long you're playing, how much you're using it.
It should be 4 hours, maybe 5.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's too long anyway.
Plenty. Yeah. Especially if you've got proper adult responsibilities.
Oh, wow, I'm just playing a game that doesn't matter.
Because I remember, like, even back in the day, I get home from school, neglect homework, and just play online for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
It
dinner
is.
in between,
You do.
and you keep going. You go to bed, you wake up, you go to school, you do the same thing again.
Man, it is. It's quite. It sucks you in.
Yeah.
I found Uncharted. Some of the hints aren't very helpful, and sometimes you get not dizzy, but when you're playing on a big screen and you're close,
Yeah.
you get a little bit
Like disoriented?
you're sort of going round and backwards and forwards and round and round and round and round. And then I go, all right, put it down.
There are accessibility controls where you can, maybe it's not motion blur. There's something where you can turn the sensitivity down so
Yeah, okay.
it's not so disrupt.
Yeah, but that means you play it more. I don't need to play it more. If I get
Yeah.
dizzy, I'm like, just put it down. Just go away.
So on the PS4, it doesn't tell you how many hours you play each game for.
Oh.
The PS5 had an update. I found out that Liam and I have played it's basically an arcade game, Black Ops Zombies.
Yeah.
You're just it's wave after wave of like increasingly more and more difficult zombies, and in the one that we're playing, some of the maps they'll have progression. So they'll be all right. First, you got to pick up this item. You got to find where it is. Now you've got to take it to this place. You got to do this ritual. Now you got to go do that 3 more times. Once you've done all this, you go to a 5th place. You do the 5th ritual, and now this
Oh,
opens up the
man.
next thing. And then you got to do these 4 things in this sequence.
Yeah.
And you've got all of that memorized. But the zombies will get you, and you'll die. And it'll say, "Hey, you died at wave 20," and there is technically an end, but you play until you die. And we would get sucked in. I think it was Quarantine 4, 5, and 6, where we would play 6 hours a day after work, every single day.
See?
Doing nothing, but we would keep just playing again and again and again. When the update happened, when we came to this new studio, I checked the log of how many hours we played.
Hundreds or something.
305.
Yay!
And
That's
and it's just, it just takes away
just-
all that. You don't really,
No.
so you learn the game, but you don't achieve anything.
No,
it's
it's
just,
just-
mindless, I guess not entertainment, but like, because you're not doing anything. And even if you're dying at you die at wave 18 in the same place at the same time, and it took you 45 minutes to get there, and you go, oh, that's right, one more time. We'll do it again. Oh,
Yeah.
one more, we've got time. No.
Man, that's just,
it just sucks
Well,
you
that's
in.
what it is, the games.
Yeah.
But it's enjoyment, it's entertainment. So,
Yeah. Up to a certain point, and then it becomes an addiction.
yeah. Yes.
So
And then
that's
you just
why-
got to put it down and walk away.
Yep. And that's what I found I've had to do.
Just put it down and walk away. That's the easiest for...
Yep. You monitor it, you do it properly, you go
but
from
then
there.
it becomes a bit more regimental and less fun because you're structuring it and...
And then you step away, and then you come back when you think you're going to enjoy it again, and then it becomes fun again. And you're saying you're playing Last of
Yes.
Us 2.
Yeah.
and
That's
you
it.
go, hey, I did this for the first game. I'd play again the second game.
Man.
But, nah.
Far.
All right, I've got no idea how long we've been recording for, but I'm pretty sure we've been talking for over an hour.
Probably.
So
we'll wrap it.
Wrap it up.
And
All
then...
right. Good. One more story that I want to tell you, okay? Because if there was ever a time to tell it, it would be here now. So I want to know once and for all, how long did you know that I had GTA 5 for when I was not supposed to? Because I distinctly remember it came out in 2013.
Yeah.
I asked for it for Christmas. You said no, so I asked Mum, and she said don't tell Dad, and I had it for a certain amount of time before you found out. Or before I thought you found out.
Oh, man.
Do
I
you-
wouldn't
do
know
you
when I
remember
found
this?
out. No.
Okay, so I'll
So
start...
GTA 5 would have been the stripper scenes and all that
Yep.
sort of stuff. And the
Yep, that was what this like swerved
Yes.
away parents and said, nope, you cannot
Yeah,
have
yeah,
this.
yeah.
The game was R18.
Yeah, yeah.
I
okay.
was 14,
Yeah, okay.
turning 15. And there was one time, I think, in I want to say either end of 2015 or near the start of 2016,
Yeah.
where you found out, and I guess I had to confess.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Really? Because that was a big deal for me.
Okay, good. Good. There you go. Tick box.
Good. So, did you actually know that I had it and was hiding this game for a long period of time?
Can't remember.
Really? Because that was my focus. I had your schedule written down.
Good.
Day shifts, night shifts, when you went to soccer, what time you came back, timed everything perfectly, and played it in secret for maybe 2.5 years.
Okay.
And just kept it under wraps. I'd play online, friends. I'd wait till you leave, turn it on. Mum would be okay with it because she didn't really know what was going on.
No, that's the other thing. She's
Yeah.
not naive, but just less focused on what it was
and if
about.
she'd go, oh no, it's all right, it's fine. And even then,
Yeah,
I
no,
wasn't...
it was not for a 13-year-old.
No, but no. I was 14. 14,
Yeah,
15.
but still, it's so as a parent, you try and guide your kids as best as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Don't expose them
Don't
to
overexpose them.
to too much unnecessarily. Yeah, which is like overexposing. Yeah, there's stuff kids are going to find out one way or another anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't remember you. I'm glad that you sort of hit it.
Yeah. Because I would have been in deep shit.
Yeah. But in saying that, oh, fair play. You did it. You just kept it away and then...
Put it away when I wasn't supposed to, and then have it out when I wasn't as well. And...
So, for me saying you weren't allowed to play it, you went to the effort of finding all my schedules and working out when I was or wasn't home. Because even now, all 3 kids have said, when's Dad home? Is Dad working tonight? And then randomly, one of the kids will say, oh no, he's working night shift. How do you not know? No. How do you know I'm working night shift? Because you're thinking about what to do when I'm not there.
Yeah. But see, that hasn't even crossed my mind after finishing high school, because like at that certain point, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was all,
It's funny,
all that
isn't
mattered.
it? Yeah. It's...
So the actual incident that led me to expose the... No. It gets better than that. So my friends and I, it was more like, hey, my friends had GTA. I wanted to play GTA with them because they had an online mode, and I was missing out. That was like, I guess, the main driving force. There were 10 of us playing this game after school every single day. And there was this one week where... So on the big map, it's basically Los Angeles.
Yep. I vaguely remember it, but yeah.
So there's a military base, and at the time in the game, they just released heists where you'd all sit around, you'd organize this mission, these people are these roles, you do this, and all these little missions build up to this one big mission where you commit a giant robbery.
Yep.
So that app update had just come out, and then we decided, hey, why don't we make our own sort of like make-believe fun heist by attacking the military base? So we did the process that what you do in the game, just in real life. So at the school library, at lunchtimes, we were printing off documents. People had roles, operations. You've got access to these vehicles. I've got access to these vehicles. You will carry these people into that. We will time it like this. Everyone gets on at this time, and we will commence this whole operation. And when we printed it off in the game, what they do is they put it on this big whiteboard, or I had a cork board, and you put the pins up. You draw like lines in that, just like a real heist. I'd done that in real life, put it on a board, and you found the board by accident the night before the heist. Okay.
I remember finding a board. I can't remember what happened about it though.
So I hid it. Like, do you remember that like the cabinet where you had all the glasses? Like the sort of
Is it like a crystal cabinet?
yeah. So I put it behind that, and you could kind of see it from behind where you had the bar in the house.
Yeah.
And you've pulled it out, and you've gone, "What's this?" And I'm shitting myself, going, "I'm gonna get in so much trouble. We're not gonna be able to do the heist. I've let everyone down."
Yeah.
And then I had to tell Mum, I was like, "Hey, look, what am I supposed to do?" And
Yeah.
she goes, "Just tell your dad. Just come completely clean."
Yeah.
So I did, and I think you, I don't know, you'd had a long day. You wanted to watch whatever
Something
sport
else.
was on TV. And you were just like, yeah, all right, well, whatever. And I was like, oh, I got away with it. Cool. Like, that was nothing. But you just didn't care.
It's funny, isn't it? After all
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah. And then the next morning, we just all did the heist. Everyone got on Skype. Because that's what we had at the time. I had my laptop set out. Everyone, all the faces are there. We're all
man.
playing. Everyone's coordinated. And I was like, oh, well, I'm glad that's done and out. But yeah, no, I've always actually wondered if you knew, because there was one time you came home 35 minutes early from soccer. Okay. And I had my headset on. I was in the living room. You remember how we had the couches set up, one like this and one like that?
Yeah.
I was lying down on the couch, completely relaxed, and I hear the key turn in the lock.
Yep.
And the TV, like, I'm flying a helicopter, and I've just gone, oh shit. So I grabbed the TV remote, quickly changed the channel, grabbed my headset, put it like in the spot under the couch, and closed it. Now, when I closed it, the particular headset had a volume dial. So when I closed it, the volume dial went all the way up.
Yeah.
So you just hear, and you've come in, and I'm sitting there like basically sweating, and you go, oh hi, how was school? And I'm like, yeah, it's good.
it's good.
Hearing like just here, I was like, can you hear that? I hope you can't hear that. And you just go, all right, I'm just gonna go have dinner. And you went, and I've just gone, and I thought I was busted.
That's funny. That's funny.
But yeah,
No, I didn't. Yeah.
I'm glad that's out there now.
Man, that's funny.
Good. All right. Well, that wraps up
Yeah, man.
the
Wrap it.
podcast. Good.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, thank you for coming.
That's all right.
That's
Anytime,
good.
yeah.
That's it then. The podcast is done. Go home. You got better things to do.